What's up, guys? Jason Cardamone here. I have something awesome today, guys. This is literally the biggest struggle I've had, not just over the past 10 years of entrepreneurship, but also literally my entire life. This very thing I'm about to share with you, it is what is responsible for me not going full professional in soccer, where I only went semi-pro. It is responsible for me taking a year and a half or 2 years in school before I got my full ride scholarship. It is also responsible for me getting that scholarship. Now I know that sounds like, wait, how can it be responsible for not getting but also getting? Because I learned how to solve this problem, and then I also forgot about how to solve this and continuing, to let me hold me back in different areas of my life. I specifically became extremely aware of this in the very end of 2010. And so here we are like 5.5 years later, and I've been actively working on this for a long time. So I want to put you guys in my shoes so you can see what this was like. And then we're going to, I guarantee you, if you hang in here for the next 3.5 minutes, you are definitely going to learn some things here about yourself, about other people, and really, I'm really pumped up to show. I'm getting a power low. That's cool. No problem. So what I'm going to do something cool. Here we go. So a lot of you guys probably already saw this, but I'm going to show you my phone here and let this thing, hold on. Give my camera a chance to catch up on reality here. Come on, camera. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Here we go. Slowly, slowly. Man, this thing, I got to get a new camera. So, uh-oh. Come on. You guys probably can't. Oh, there we go. There we go. You're lost. Nothing looks familiar. You see strange faces in every direction. And as you hear you know what, guys? Here, let's do this. I'm just going to read it to you because that's super distracting. Nothing looks familiar. You see strange faces in every direction. I should know this because I literally wrote this 48 hours ago or something, but just put yourself in this situation. You're lost. Nothing looks familiar. You see strange faces in every direction. And as you hear a language you may or may not have heard before, the voice inside of your head tells you that it has no idea what these voices are saying. And as you feel as if your entire world is breaking apart, as your heart beats faster and faster in the confusion, what would happen to you in this situation? Would you create a new measure of success? Would you succumb to the pressure? Could you not only survive, but also thrive? And I go on from there. So I paint this awesome story. Well, in my hallucination is an awesome story. And so I know some of you guys already left, you're not even watching right now, but check this out. Now I'm gonna hide this person, I'm gonna hide their identity because I'm not here to throw them under the bus. They are removed from my list forever, by the way, but so now I gotta get this thing to focus again. Come on, camera, let's focus faster. Yeah, baby. Come on, there we go. So if you guys can see, hang on, I'm moving too fast for it. Do you guys see this right here? You're a joke. And I'm not going to make fun of their grammar because they don't know how to do you are or anything else. I mean, I'm showing you guys this for a couple reasons. Number one is that when I first saw this, yes, I had that I literally had a second of the former reaction that would have just been oh God, frustration and anger and being sad and feeling oh man, somebody in the world doesn't like me. So that's really what this really comes down to, guys, is one of our deepest needs as humans is the need to be loved. And what I carried for most of my life was asking, I filtered literally the entire world through what's called your primary question. And your primary question is something that you basically walk around the world, and it's how you experience the world. And what really gets your mind to open up is what's happening, guys, at the deepest levels of your unconscious mind is that you're always asking a question, and there tends to be something called a primary question that you literally filter all of your life through. Now, you may have a slightly different one in your career versus your relationships versus your health and nutrition. But more often than not, literally there's like, if you dive deep enough, there is a deep, deep primary question. It's what you filter the whole world by. And so I became very aware at the end of 2010, my primary question, literally, I should have pulled out the books I could show you guys. When I discovered, God, I have chills everywhere because this is such a powerful discovery. Man, I can feel even like tears swings. This is so, and this is like all of power, like how much this meant, because this was decades. I mean, I was 35 when I discovered this, and it was just like it was just such a mind-blowingly huge thing. And here's what that primary question was: do they like me? Filtered my whole life through that. I filtered all my videos through that. Do they like me? I started doing videos in December of 2008. So imagine, and ironically, November of 2010 is where I discovered that my primary question was, do they like me? I'm talking to you right now. And I want you to think how much this applies to you. And you probably have that do they like me, or deeper is the need to be loved. That's at the root of everybody at some point or another, but it doesn't mean that's your primary question. You may have that as because I have whatever your primary question is, I probably had that filtering in and out of different parts of my life, and maybe it barely impacts me, maybe it deeply impacts me. So maybe you can relate to this, like, do they like me? And let me share with you where this would impact you is, are you afraid to turn on a video camera? Are you afraid to get on stage and speak? It's one of the biggest public fears ever. You know why? Because there's something people hallucinate to be judgment. So why are people afraid to get on stage? Like, it's one of the top 2 fears in the history of all humanity. Why? Because when I'm here on camera, there's thousands of people looking right back at me, and judgment is happening. Now, what you hallucinate, or what you like transform that to mean to you, that's where the question of do they like me can come into play. And so rewind back to this would have been, so I'm going to date myself big time now. I started college in the fall of 1993, and I don't know when I got my scholarship. I believe it was the spring of '95. I think it took me about a year and a half to get my full ride scholarship. And here's what happened. A year into it, I was playing my heart out. I was just pouring everything into the game. And even though I was like the Rudy of like, you know, like Rudy Rudiger in the football, you know, the movie Rudy. So he's like the smallest guy on the team and does all this stuff and becomes the big guy. Kind of like Rocky's story. He's always the underdog. He's always a little bit smaller. He always like overcomes. So those were like my heroes, my models growing up, because I was never like a giant guy. I'm like 5'9". Right now I weigh like 145 or so. And I've been up to 165 when I was really hitting weights hard, but also that was not a healthy 165. I will be in the 150 ranges over the coming years as I really have my workouts balanced with my nutrition and everything like awesome now. And my like perfect fighting body weight and everything's going to be like mid 150s. But here's why all that matters. Because when I walked into college, I remember at one point weighing 151 was probably the height of it. And a lot of my college was like mid 140s to like low 150s. Guys, that was like freaking late 1990s. We're here in 2016. So in 20 years, like that's crazy. My body weight is about here. This is like where my body wants to set if I don't work hard at things. Now, I feel super blessed that I have a crazy high metabolism. It also has hurt me in a lot of ways. But that's not the point of this video. The point is, I was always one of the smaller guys and I had to fight and fight and fight. Always fighting against big. Dude, there was a game where I went up a guy that was like 180, 190, way, like literally 25, 30% bigger body mass. One of the best players in the state. And I knocked him on his ass several times. And he was so pissed. He also knocked me on my ass several times. And it was way easier for him to do it. But I completely took him out of his game. I totally remember that because I was so proud of that. But because of all that fight, that was about a year into my college career, 6 months later, I was still fighting and fighting and fighting. And I remember the day this happened. Never forget it. I'm walking out in a college practice, and there's one guy, so I would have been like a sophomore now. So there was 1 year of men, I guess, men's soccer we played. There was a guy 1 year below me that was a freshman that had just been there for a year. This was his, he'd been there for 8 or 9 months at this point. And it was the underclassman's duty to do more, pick up balls and stuff like that. And this, I'll call him a kid. He was super immature, but and I was always I was super kind and everything all the time, and he mistook that to be like, oh, Cardamone, you go get the ball. Like he's trying to boss around an upperclassman. And normally I just would have been like, I'll just do it, I don't know what the deal was, but I just snapped that day. And I was like, you effing go do it, dude. And I'm not calling him out either. And I remember I was like, whoa, dude. And he was like, he just went and did it. And it was right, that same we were walking out to practice. And I remember that same practice, I just stepped up my game like, I don't care what the world thinks of me today. And the world being my teammates on my team. I'm all about team playing. I always have had a servant's heart. I've always bent over backwards to serve people. But that day, I just stepped it up and I was like, dude, I'm playing balls out today. I'm going all out. And I don't know what, it was just the combination of everything of whatever was going on in my life and school and on the soccer team and everything. And dude, that was the foundation where I finally was like, my primary question that day was not, do they like me? It was, I'm gonna win today. I'm gonna actually use these skills I have and bring them out and actually get some shit done. And literally that attitude, it wasn't long after where I was playing on varsity. It wasn't long after where, actually I think I was already on varsity that year. I was actually. So it wasn't long after where I got a full ride scholarship. And I'm sharing all that because the same thing has been in business. It's been, man, I remember I just did a really ballsy or bold move here back in like 2000 and late 2011 or 12 or so. And something we had been doing that was like consistent, and the people that were following me at the time were having some level of success, not very much, but they were making like hundreds, a couple of them making thousands of dollars a month. I think I had one person making like 10 grand a month or so online. That's not a full-time income except for a couple people. And it wasn't, I didn't want thousands of people making hundreds per month. That wasn't my standard. And I knew something had to change, and I risked everything. And I was like, guys, I didn't go guys. I said like the people I knew, the closest people to me, because I don't believe it. This was like a network marketing team, and I wasn't going to go dive through the team and wreck all their hard work. I just took my leaders and was like, guys, here's something. Here's the problems I see. I want everybody to make more money, including you guys and including the people following you. A few $100 a month isn't going to set anybody free. And I don't care if that's the golden handcuffs or whatever that crap is, where somebody makes $300 a month and then they're locked in for life. That wasn't the standard I had. I had a way, God, I had a way bigger vision for everybody that was on our team. And this hurts. You can see all the emotion. I knew that wasn't going to set anybody free from their job making a few $100 a month. And so I had to do something huge, and I did it. And I literally told them, and you could ask them, I don't know if they remember this, I was like, I don't care if any of you guys follow me in doing this thing, I'm doing this. And I know this is right, and I feel it in my heart, and everything in my life has told me this is what we have to do. And guys, this was like 2011 or 12. This is like a couple years after realizing I've been filtering, do they like me? Yes, that was absolutely present when I'm talking to some of the closest people in my life that I deeply care about, and I have my arms locked and I'm fighting for them every freaking day. I'm taking phone calls for them every day. They're off working their jobs and I'm talking to their teams for them every day, all day long. And I'm literally, in some cases, guys, I'm making $10, $20 a month from me busting my ass for them and their teams. That was what was happening back then. And was the skills I have justified of the income I was making? Yes and no. The skill set I had, I should have been making literally 10 times what I was making at the time. But shame on me for not providing better leadership and a better culture and better systems and better everything to where all of our incomes are amplified. So me jumping out and taking that huge risk then in 2011, 12 or whatever, that was me realizing that's happening, saying, guys, we all deserve better. Let's go. Even if you're not going, I'm going. And so a lot of them went. Some of them stayed. In fact, some of them are still there to this day, still have the same team, still making hundreds per month, and they haven't transitioned yet. And that's okay. They're doing the best they can with what they have. And here's where all this matters. We go back now, full circle to the open loop I created for you guys early in this video. And I hope I had some things pop up on my phone when I was looking at it. I'm like, thank God I wasn't showing you guys that. So this guy is saying, you're a joke. What does that really mean in the bigger picture of everything? Well, here's what it means. You can't filter your entire life by what everybody else thinks of you, or you will literally never do anything great. And all of this is coming from how many more people I could have impacted, because that's my real mission in the world. You guys notice, by the way, this is the coolest little hack I ever learned. Shit, I just learned this in August of 2014. I started a breakdown just like this at a really, really deep level where I couldn't even speak, and tears were streaming. I was just yelling stuff out. Nobody knew what I was saying, not even the person in front of the room that had directed this big breakthrough. And what he said was, stop, take a deep breath. And that's why you see me doing that. Because that's a new skill set I learned from that day forward, and look at how much it instantly grounds me, instantly, and it works for everybody. So anytime you see somebody speaking, or like they're at a wedding, a funeral, anything, and they can't talk, guys, I encourage you, be their coach and go, hey, some of them need, hey, stop, take a deep breath. Some of them need a hand on the shoulder. Hey, just take a deep breath. Keep it like private with them. Just take a huge deep breath real quick. You got this. I believe in you. And let them keep going, and they're going to come back completely composed. So the reason all that was happening was because of all of the far greater pieces of myself that could have been brought out, and the far millions of people that could have been impacted, either directly or ripple impact through the bigger impacts I got to have here in my first almost 41 years of my life here. And I'm sharing that because you can't filter your life based on what other people, because anything you do, and I'll give you the perfect example, because we're right here leading into elections here in 4 or 5 months or whatever here in the US. And I want you to think about how many times a day or per week or per month you've heard somebody say, oh, Clinton this, Obama this, Trump this, what? Just think about that. I purposely ignore all that, and I hear that crap every single day. Now think about, what about being in their shoes? Now, take away all your belief systems, all your filters of whoever's this and that, whatever you think. This has nothing to do with what you believe sitting in your shoes behind a television about these candidates with all the crazy fake videos and crazy stuff going on. You gotta learn to put all those filters on the back burner for just a minute. I want you to look at just the 3 human beings I mentioned. Obama, Clinton, whichever one you're picturing, whichever Clinton, I know probably which one it is, and Trump. Let's throw in Bernie just for fun. 4 people. These are 4 human beings doing the best they can with what they have. Just like the guy who just wrote to me and said, you're a joke. He's doing the best he can with what he has. Everything he's had, all of us in our entire life, just like you, as you started judging the 3 and 4 people I just brought up, you've had an entire life of conditioning and belief systems and all these things pounded in, and that's why you have different beliefs about those 4 different people. They're not equal to you, they're people, and you have different belief systems about them based on your history of what's come in through your eyes and the words coming into your ears and what you felt and what happened when you were a 7-year-old kid in the playground and what happened when you were 10 with your parents and your authority figures, and all that stuff represents and creates your belief systems and who you are today. Just like that gentleman who wrote me and said, "You're a joke." I don't know why he didn't know the right grammar. Maybe he spoke it and he just put the wrong "you're" in. Maybe he didn't go through all the same English and he just doesn't understand. Maybe he writes "your" for all three types of you, "you are," and "your." So this isn't a judgment on that of him. It means he has a whole lifetime of things that have caused him to do that. And think about this. This goes way, way deeper. He actually had something within him throughout his whole experience. I'm so grateful for him. And my heart goes out to him because whatever's happened throughout his life, I write that message and paint this thing that all I'm trying to do is provide value and a really cool success formula lesson that's happened in my life. And he not only has the thoughts of, this guy's a joke, fuck you, whatever he's thinking, but he actually has it even further to take action on it and hit the reply button and type or speak or write in or whatever, "You're a joke." And he actually wants to communicate that to me. I'm pretty sure he didn't have an intention of saying, "I love you, I forgive you, thank you, I'm sorry." The Ho'oponopono meditation. Thank you, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me. I don't think he had that same intention on his heart, that same gratitude. I think he had a different set of belief systems, but here's the beautiful thing. Yes, I felt that for literally like a second, and I instantly was overcome with compassion, and I instantly realized a whole history. And I remember back when I started in this industry, this was again, November of 2006, 9.5 years ago. I remember the speaker on stage talking about how she had been beaten when she was little. And I remember her giving all this forgiveness towards her father because she realized he was just doing the best he can with what he had, and that's all he knew. And she said it in different words. She didn't know all the deeper psychology stuff. She said it in amazing words that really got across the audience, because as I looked around that room, everybody understood that she truly had forgiven her father for beating the crap out of her growing up, because she was picturing him hiding under a bed from his father, and that's all he knew, and that's the environment he grew up in. And I don't know what kind of environment this person that wrote "You're a Joke" grew up in, but they're literally doing the best they can with what they have. So here's where all this ties in. Yes, there's hurt all over the world, and yes, I have an extremely high amount of empathy. I've had it my entire life. I've been able to feel and been wired, and I can step in anybody's shoes in the entire planet in any second I choose. It's one of my deepest gifts. And that's where a lot of all this like heart in the sleeve stuff, but this isn't just me. I'm feeling literally his pain. I'm feeling that speaker's pain of being beat, because I never got beat when I had spankings, yeah. Some of them kind of were beatings. But I wasn't beaten when I was little. And all this emotion, I literally know and can feel what that's like, because I've been beaten in other ways, and I can translate that to what that feels like and what that does to psychology. And so I deeply forgive this person. I love them. I'm grateful for them for allowing me, helping me to teach this lesson to you guys today. And I know he's doing the best he can with what he has. And on top of that, I went to the bottom of the link and I clicked unsubscribe, and I looked in and he still subscribed to everything. So normally what I do is just instantly unsubscribe everything from him for two reasons. Because something I'm doing is triggering stuff within him that's like, basically it's an anger, it's a frustration. He probably does that everywhere he goes, or my hallucination is that a lot of places he goes. I have no idea what he even knows about my life. I don't know what he knows. He could have opened, that could be the first email he ever opened, and maybe the last time he saw was years ago, and he's like, oh, this guy just wants to take my money because I didn't know what I was doing one day, and I wrote an email that was like hypey in some way, or it was, I had somebody, a friend call me hypey just like 1.5 years, 2 years ago. I was like, dude, I just like poured my heart out, and this person, they perceive that as whatever they call hype. I was like, whoa, I was excited about something and they called it hype. But I learned a lot. I'm like, you know what? they're doing the best they can with what they have. And I learned to start to change the way I communicate my message. So I don't really know if I'm going to keep this person on my list or not. I'm probably going to remove them because for a few reasons. It keeps the door, and this isn't the first reason, it keeps the door open for like spam complaints and the damage of my email reputation. That's going to happen no matter what. But I also know in that person's perspective of the world, my messages to them, it's just generating frustration and anger and hatred, and I don't wish that upon his world anymore at all. That's like the biggest reason. And also, I don't need some of that in my world. I don't need things like that to be able to teach lessons from that. I've really created way thicker 6-inch rhino skin, and as I'm driving towards my goal, eyes straight ahead, horn down, completely focused, driving at my target, I can take arrows all day long. And yeah, some of the arrows, some of the damn cannons hurt a lot more than others, but I keep going. So like, that is not going to derail me at all. And I am grateful it was a cool trigger to be able to teach this, because this is such that, guys, this is literally the most important lesson in my life. And I'm still learning. I haven't arrived. I'll never arrive. I'll continue to learn and get better, because I'll always have a heart deeply empathetic, which always will keep me open to like massively experiencing pain. And yes, I've learned better ways to handle that and deal with that and take it in, and new meanings, new filters for it, to be like, they're doing the best they can with what they have. Am I taking it as personal? No. Am I wired to be deeply empathetic? Yes, I'm not. Guys, my ability to step into kinesthetic, like the ability to feel things, that's never going to change, and I don't want it to. I love the ability to deeply feel love and gratitude, and on the other end of things, hurt and everything else too. And so that's part of that gift. And so I hope you're able to learn a lot from this. I hope that you're able to step in and really evaluate what's your primary question, how much do you take in other people's stuff, and maybe some of you, maybe you're in a situation you need to actually allow more people's in. You need to open up your heart even more. Maybe you're the opposite of like, do they like me? You're like, do they hate me yet? You're like always in people's face. Maybe you need to tone that down somewhere. I don't know what you need. That's your journey to figure out, and I'm happy to help you continue that as we lock arms and move forward together, continuing on this journey. So guys, that was all about today, all about primary questions, all about how you filter the world, and especially around if you're going to do anything great, if you're going to do anything big in your entire world, even if you're doing it by yourself, somebody somewhere is going to be like pointing some arrows at you, just like the 4 people I had mentioned. Imagine how many times a minute somebody around the world points some hate and destruction and anger and frustration at them. Think about that. And that's literally one of the things that stops a lot of human in our psychology, because we have such a deep need to be loved. It's one of the things that stops us from being amazingly great, because we know as we're stepping up to get on that pedestal, it's going to be a lot of people trying to knock us off. Just like that. And then you have to really deeply realize they're all doing the best they can with what they have. It's an amazing life. It's an amazing world. And your thoughts and your filters of the world create everything, including your belief systems and how you experience everything in this beautiful life, this beautiful journey. We're all here together. I love you guys. I really look forward to this journey with you. To your ultimate success. God bless, guys.